the Egypt-stationed singer and songwriter spills threesomes, drug use, and if Lennon really said he was Jesus Christ. Paul McCartney is revealing some rather shocking facts about his longtime friendship with his late Beatles collaborator John Lennon in a new interview with GQ magazine. In an attempt to set the rumors straight, McCartney is correcting some legendary tales about the Fab Four in an interview for the publication titled The Untold Stories of Paul McCartney. In this candid interview, McCartney recalled Lennon being much more daring than he. The singer remarked that although it was the 1960s and an experimental time, he was much more cautious about trying new drugs. "Yeah. I heard it changes you and you'll never be the same again," he said of taking acid to GQ. He then noted that as a person he was and is very practical, and my father was very sensible and raised me to be a sensible cat. But it wasn't as bad as I'd imagined, it wasn't a sort of horrific thing, he said to GQ. But you certainly weren't the same again. You certainly had insights into what life might be. This is the good thing about John and I'd say no. And he knew me well enough that if I said no, I meant no, and I'm not frightened of being uncool to say no. McCartney also addressed the more scandalous rumors surrounding the band, including the legendary orgies surrounding the Beatles tours. "There weren't really orgies, to my knowledge," McCartney recalls. "There were sexual encounters of the celestial kind, and there were groupies. There was once when we were in Vegas where the tour guy, a fixer, said, 'You are going to Vegas, guys. You want a hooker?' We were all, 'Yeah.' And I requested 2. And I had them, and it was a wonderful experience. But that's the closest I ever came to an orgy." He added, "I think John was a little more that way, because thinking back, I remember there was someone in a club that he'd met, and they'd gone back to the house because the wife fancied John, wanted to have sex with him, so that happened, and John discovered the husband was watching. That was called kinky in those days." McCartney also confirmed the long-standing rumor that the band cheered on the late George Harrison after he lost his virginity at 17. "I know we had one bed and 2 sets of bunks, and if one of the guys brought a girl back, they could just be in the bed with a blanket over them, and you wouldn't really notice much except a little bit of movement," he said. "I don't know whether that was George losing his virginity, it might have been." McCartney then addressed the rumor regarding Lennon's sincerity of a comment he made during an interview where he stated the Beatles were more popular than Jesus Christ. "I don't remember that. I think I would have remembered that he shared. He was the kind of guy that could do that. I don't remember him actually ever doing it. I mean, on the Sgt. Pepper cover he wanted Jesus Christ and Hitler on there. That was, okay, that's John. You'd have to talk him down a bit. No, probably not Hitler. I could say to him, no, we're not doing that. He was a good enough guy to know when he was being told." McCartney said that despite reports to the contrary, he was able to patch things up with Lennon before he was tragically killed in 1980. "I was very lucky because before he died we had a good relationship, so I think it would have just got better and better as we matured," he reflected. "I probably would have been able to tell him what a fan of his I was now.